Marvell just held its AI event, and let me just say, I believe it's extremely bullish for Marvell, Broadcom, and just the overall AI stock market. Let me explain why in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so for those that are not familiar, Marvell is this semiconductor company that helps build semi-custom AI chips and other types of semiconductor solutions for a lot of major players. And usually when we think about the major players, we think about the top four. So in today's episode, I want to kind of showcase what we learned from the overall event. And the event had over 100 slides. I'm going to show you maybe like the top 10 that I think not only Marvell stock investors should know, Nvidia stock investors should know, Broadcom stock investors, but just the overall AI ecosystem. So I want to say this is probably the first important note to look at, and it's kind of just breaking down the overall AI investment and kind of how hyperscaler capital expenditure has only been usually ran by the main four. And when I talk about the main four, obviously I think of Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta. We can see for calendar year of 2025, they're expected to spend about $327 billion in capital expenditure. Quick caveat, it's not all AI compute, right? It's a little bit of everything. We know Amazon does a little bit of other stuff with kind of the logistics, with their shopping side. So they need some of that CapEx is used for that shopping business. But a good majority from all these players are being used in forms of AI infrastructure. Now, the great thing is before this market in forms of just massive GPUs, but also these semi-custom XPUs or semi-custom AI accelerators used to be ran by only those four. But with the emergence of AI, we are seeing a new type of customers that are worth a lot of money and have a lot of open wallets. In the model side, you have companies like xAI and OpenAI. In the application side, you have companies like Tesla and Apple. In the sovereign AI, as every nation is trying to build their own AI infrastructure, you have companies like Humane and Stargate projects. So now if you add those into the list, and this is why I believe is super great news for Nvidia investors, for AI stock investors, for AMD stock investors, and just the overall AI infrastructure play, is because look at this. The calendar year 2025, if you start to add those other players, CapEx for total data centers is actually expected to be $593 billion, growing at a 51% compounded annual growth rate versus calendar year of 2023. Now, it gets a lot better than that. Now, from calendar year of 2025 to calendar year of 2028, it goes from about $600 billion to about $1 trillion. And that is expected to grow at about a 20% compounded annual growth rate. So regardless, I think for all AI investors, we can see a clear picture of massive AI investments continuing for the foreseeable future. And 3 years is a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us don't remember what we were invested in calendar year of 2022. So overall, that's a lot of excitement and a lot of money entering into our AI companies. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Now, obviously, Marvell is focused more within the niche. And within this niche is their want to do compute or AI chips that are meant for those hyperscalers. But actually, before we go anywhere, if you guys are enjoying the channel, guys and gals, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 75,000 subs by the end of the year. Right now, we're at 68.6. Let's see if we can do it. The other thing, if you want free semiconductor news, make sure to check out What the Chip Happened almost daily, completely free. And we did talk about Marvell last night. Now, also, if you want to check out any type of transcripts from companies like Marvell, slides, some pretty great graphs, check out fiscal.ai/Jose for my special offer. You get an amazing special offer, a few weeks free, no credit cards needed. And finally, check out fool.com/Jose for some really great offers. Those are some 4 ways you can help out the overall channel. Now, like I was saying, Marvell is focusing on designing these types of XPUs for all these different players. And because of that, they expected this market in the last year, they expected this market for calendar year of 2028 to be about $75 billion. Now, with everything that's rapidly moving, they actually see this market being a lot higher. They expect it to be actually 26% larger to $94 billion. And again, right off the bat, $94 billion here, Marvell is not going to win everything here. It's impossible. You have a lot of great opportunities for companies like Broadcom to take a big portion of this overall market. And they obviously have other opportunities as well, as we've seen that Broadcom believes that for the foreseeable future, they have a I think it was 60, 70 billion, I forget, of serviceable addressable market. So Broadcom is very excited, but this overall just showcases that this market is getting bigger, which we can definitely kind of pull off to a Broadcom bullish thesis. Now, one of the main reasons is just XPU is growing at massive level, but there is something new. So with XPU is kind of your AI accelerator, but there is something new that Marvell is adding into this market, and that's what they call custom XPU. So custom XPU is actually growing at a 90% compounded annual growth rate. And by calendar year of 2028, that's expected to be about a $15 billion market. That market alone is already bigger than the market we're in right now, and just that small piece. The biggest portion is obviously the custom XPUs, and that's about 47% compounded annual growth rate. And here's a pretty cool slide to kind of help us understand what's the difference between a custom XPU and an XPU attach. Your custom XPU is kind of like your AI accelerator. Your custom XPU attach are things that go to help connect everything: your scale-up fabric, your networking solution, your memory, your co-processors, and the list goes on and on. Now, Marvell actually gave us a breakdown of the actual cost of how this is, and custom XPUs are typically a multi-billion-dollar 2-year run rate in forms of customers. The custom XPUs are more like in the 100 millions in a longer time frame. So obviously the big winner is going to be the custom XPUs, but XPUs attached also do have opportunities. Now, Marvell did give us an update that within the top 4 hyperscalers, they have 3 custom XPU sockets, which we know are super big in billions of dollars, and they have 9 custom XPU attached, which are a lot smaller, but I'm going to guess together this could also be about $1 billion market, at least for them, in about a few years. Now, within the emerging hyperscalers, remember those Teslas, your OpenAI, your whoever out there, your emerging players, they are also playing, and they have 2 custom XPU socket wins here and 4 custom XPU attached, bringing a total of 18. So I do believe this is a massive growth opportunity for Marvell. I think the stock can actually benefit, and I do believe it's one of the reasons the stock has seen a nice growth in price over the past few days, especially after that event. Especially after the events, right? So it's very, very bullish, in my opinion, for where this market is going. Now, one thing that I found pretty interesting, and I've talked a lot about everything here, but one thing is, if the CEO looks back into 2023, the largest single socket probably made up 75% or more of the total addressable market. One socket, and if I was to guess, I'm going to guess that is Google's TPUs. But that's clearly no longer the case. And by the time we get to 2028, I would expect that no individual socket is going to be more than 10 or 15% of the total addressable market. So the reason I think this is super bullish, not only for Marvell, obviously for Marvell, you can see kind of this bullish case, but Broadcom, you always used to think of Broadcom as, look, is that TPU company, that company that helps design Google's CPU, because that used to be the big player spending a lot of money. But if no longer we expect to see one socket being a massive amount of the total addressable market, this means if Broadcom wins any major players, and we do know they have some major players with some massive ramp production, that is some amazing growth opportunity for Broadcom and obviously your Marvell. So they also kind of gave us an opportunity that the custom opportunity is exploding. And they believe there's over 50 new opportunities available right now, with more than 10 customers and a lifetime revenue of about $75 billion. Now, these opportunities are not just opportunity for Marvell, but also an opportunity for Broadcom. Now, they also did talk about kind of their partnership with AWS and partnership with Microsoft, and how they are are on track to kind of take about 20% of market in overall data center spending, where in calendar year of 2023, they had about 10%. In calendar year of 2024, they had about 13%. They believe they are on track for calendar year of 2028 to be about 20% market share in overall data center play. So I think I'm actually very, very excited about this. I'm not going to lie. I think this AI market is evolving at rapid levels. And like I've talked about it, I think it's very bullish for the overall AI industry. So if you did find this episode pretty good, I would love to hear your thoughts about Marvell, maybe about Broadcom. Did this make you a little bit more bullish or bearish on Broadcom? I think it should make you a little bit more bullish, but it should be very, very bullish for the overall AI space. So one final note, while I was editing this video, something did come to mind. I was thinking, obviously this is very bullish for Marvell and Broadcom, but there is this risk that we keep hearing from obviously Nvidia, that just because you have the ability to build an ASIC solution, if Nvidia GPUs or AMD GPUs become so rapidly advanced due to the amount of research and development and advancements they're doing with AI technologies, and we knew that workloads are becoming very, very versatile and changing over time, that this could be seen that even if you have a pipeline approach, it doesn't mean that it's gonna scale out. And that is a risk. Even if you work multiple years and get that money for that research and development, if it doesn't scale out, you're not gonna see much money or revenue growth due to the scale out process. So something to think about, and it's great to see how Broadcom and Marvell are innovating in the semiconductor space. We see their innovation, or they discuss their innovations in how they're working with things like 2 nanometers, 3 nanometers, advanced packaging, and the list goes on and on. But there's always a risk when investing in companies like Marvell and Broadcom. It's no longer just ASIC versus ASIC, but now it's making sure that the third-party GPUs like Nvidia, AMD, and whoever else may eventually come into that space are not outpacing you in demand. So just wanted to end this note there. I'm still very bullish with Marvell, but and Broadcom, even though I don't own Broadcom, but there's always that risk to keep at the back of your mind. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.